coronavirus vaccine hopes raised by fresh trials. A live report by Love and Season. Then, the UK, news of Banksy's artwork being removed. That report will be brought to us by Ashley Espiritu. Then we go to EBC Germany with an update on Berlin's tourism. A live report by Vanessa Gerhardt. EBC Paris, France. It's France National Day celebration. A live report by Alia Garcia. EBC Switzerland reports on the Mirage Gstaad in Switzerland by Theodoline Baisa. And in sports, on what should have been a big day for football. In EBC Geneva, Switzerland, English and Christo youth members from Switzerland, France, Belgium and Monaco hold an online meet and greet with youth in Ottawa, Canada. A report by Ace Kumiko. And lastly, we end our show with the views from the window, giving you a view from one of our European cities. But first, we have the UK news headlines from the United Kingdom, with Huawei's 5G network being removed from the UK. Britain's Digital Minister, Oliver Dowden, explains the UK's decision to remove Chinese telecom company Huawei from the country's 5G network. This comes after pressure from the US to cut ties with the Chinese company in the latest of a geopolitical and trade battle between the two countries. The Chinese ambassador
in law by the Telecom Security Bill. By the time of the next election, we will have implemented in law an irreversible path for the complete removal of Huawei equipment from our 5G networks. United Kingdom. The new US measures restrict Huawei's ability to produce important products using US technology or software. The National Cybersecurity Centre has reviewed the consequences of the US's actions. The NCSC has now reported to ministers that they have significantly changed their security assessment of Huawei's presence in the UK's 5G network. Given the uncertainty that this creates around Huawei's supply chain, the UK can no longer be confident it will be able to guarantee the security of future Huawei 5G equipment affected by the change in US foreign direct product. Let me assure members that this government is clear-eyed about China. We have been robust in our response to the imposition of new security laws in Hong Kong, including through our generous offer to British national overseas passport holders. What we want is a modern and mature relationship with China based on mutual respect, where we're able to speak frankly when we disagree, but also to work side by side with China.
In response to this, China's ambassador in London calls Britain's Huawei ban disappointing and wrong. The Chinese ambassador to the United Kingdom, Liu Xiaoming, says that Britain's decision to order the phased removal of Chinese telecoms giant Huawei from its 5G network is disappointing and wrong. He was speaking via video link at a talk organized by the Center for European Reform think tank.
I think it first undermines the trust between the two countries. Trust, mutual respect are really the basis for our relationship, not only between countries. I said it's a disappointing and wrong decision on Huawei. Now I would even say it's not only disappointing, it's a disheartening. When you see, the way you treat Huawei will be followed very closely by other Chinese businesses. When the mutual trust was undermined, it'd be difficult for the businesses to have a confidence. I think it's...
In Germany now, Chancellor Angela Merkel meets Italian Prime Minister. German Chancellor Angela Merkel has welcomed Italian Prime Minister Giuseppe Conte to the government guest house in Schloss Messeburg. Their meeting was followed by a joint press conference where she expressed her delight that it was made possible to meet again in person. This visit is in connection to the preparations for the European Council meeting. In that assembly, the heads of state and government will be negotiating the planned recovery fund for the European Union, as well as the multi-annual financial framework. Staying in Germany, the health minister warns about a second wave due to holidaymakers. Health Minister Jens Spahn spoke out about the risk of holiday travel after photos emerged of German tourists discarding the coronavirus rules on holiday in Mallorca. He warned that when holidaymakers return home, there is not only a risk of infection on the plane, but also at home. The health minister emphasized that the virus is still present and therefore urged people to keep their distance and follow recommended hygiene measures, as well as wearing protective masks. In Spain now, Spain honors its 28,400 coronavirus victims at a solemn state memorial. Spain honors its tens of thousands of COVID-19 victims at a state ceremony led by the royal family and joined by top EU and World Health Organization figures. The memorial takes place barely 3 weeks after Spain ended its month-long state of emergency. But since then, there has been a growing number of new coronavirus infections, with health chiefs monitoring more than 120 active outbreaks. It's time for a break now, but please come back for more E&I UK and Europe edition.
Matinding salpukan ng magagaling ang hindi dapat palampasin ngayong weekend.
Ang angas nyo, grabe kayo.
Hangang-hanga na talaga ako sa'yo. This is what you call tagisan ng galing. Ito na yon.
Sino-sino ang bubuo sa Final 5 na makakasama sa Grand Finale? Abangan yan dito lang sa Tagisan ng Galing, the Semi-Finals.
Tagisan ng Galing is presented by SMC Infrastructure, building a better world. Sanmig sugar-free white coffee, puno ng white coffee taste without the sugar, kaya lower calories. Try mo na Sanmig sugar-free white coffee. Sarap ng white coffee, now sugar-free. Vetabrew Nutri-Chocs, the only premium dog food with active boost for optimum energy and prebiotics that help strengthen immunity. Just like Catherine Bernardo, gawing listo ganado ang fur babies niyo. Listo ganado sa Nutri-Chocs. Magnolia Chicken Templados, delicious, ready to cook and freshly marinated daily. Pure Foods Luncheon Meat, pure sarap for every family. Star Chunky Cheese Corned Beef, ang cheesy ng corned beef mo. Walang duda, kids can tell na #1 ang Pure Foods Tender Juicy. Ang tender, ang juicy, ang sarap. Co-presented by Cooper, expert in air conditioning and electromechanical. Also engaged in structural, electrical, fire protection, plumbing, and sanitary services. Cooper, your ultimate MEPS and air conditioning solutions. Ulan Incorporated International, fight against global poverty. New San Jose Builders Incorporated. Canrib Corporation, your ventilation and air conditioning specialist. Vita Herbs Philippines Green Coffee, masarap, mabango, at healthy pa. Puerto Rico Resort and Convention Center, Cabiao, Nueva Ecija. I love Puerto Rico. In participation with Philippine National Bank, masasandalan ng pamilyang Pilipino saan man sa mundo. PNB, you first. Rain or Shine Elastomeric Waterproofing Paint, Matimco. R Square Variables Incorporated, Compizel Enterprises, Saisho International Trading Corporation, DN Steel, EMAC UPB Roof Corporation. East West Bank, your dream, our focus.
Lisa! Listo at ganado ang baby ko sa vet-approved Nutri-Chunks. With active boost and prebiotics na pampalisto. Made with real meat, with essential nutrients to help them grow healthy and happy. Listo, ganado sa Nutri-Chunks.
The successful development of TPLEX, or Tarlac Pangasinan La Union Expressway in 2009, a 4-lane toll road that extends from Tarlac City to Rosario La Union, with an additional approved extension of 56 kilometers all the way to San Juan La Union. This is expected to reduce travel time to Baguio and other provinces in northern Luzon. Realizing the vision of creating a better world for Filipinos fueled the team's focus.
Hey, Gretchen Ho here, and I'm a white coffee lover. Creamy kasi, and very yummy. Pero mas masarap kung hindi nakaka-guilty. Check my new discovery, Sandmade Sugar-Free White Coffee. Puno ng white coffee taste without the sugar, kaya lower calories. Try mo na! Sandmade Sugar-Free White Coffee. Sarap ng white coffee, now sugar-free.
Ikaw lang ang star ng buhay ko. Para sa akin, perfect ka. Ibang klase ang sarap ng corned beef mo. Ang cheesy ng corned beef mo. Pag Star Chunky Cheese Corned Beef, sarap ng corned beef, inangat pa ng real cheese cubes. Kaya perfect ang sarap. Star Chunky Cheese Corned Beef.
Welcome back to E&I UK and Europe edition. I'm Giancarlo Matera, and we have now live interesting stories reported from the United Kingdom. First up, we have a coronavirus vaccine hopes are raised by a fresh trial. We have with us a live reporter, Love Ann Season. Hello, Love Ann.
Hi, Giancarlo, and thank you. So there are now hopes of an effective COVID-19 vaccine being developed after 2 separate studies showed potential positive results. British media reported Thursday. A University of Oxford trial showed its prototype vaccine developed by AstraZeneca and Oxford University's Jenner Institute generated an immune response against the virus, the report said. Blood samples taken from a group of some 1,000 volunteers who were given the vaccine stimulated antibodies and killer T cells, according to the Daily Telegraph. It's the combination of these two that will hopefully keep people safe. Previous research has shown that T cells can remain in the body for years and help fight viruses. Now, results of the trial are expected to be published in the Lancet Medical Journal next week. Oxford said in a statement, the results are expected to show that there are no grave side effects from this vaccine and that subjects show a response in each aspect of the immune system, the antibodies and T cells. As reported in The Guardian, even if a robust immune response were confirmed, it would not be an assurance that the vaccine protected against infection. Instead, such protection could be demonstrated in the third phase of the trial. This phase involved 10,000 trial participants in the UK, about 5,000 in Brazil, and 2,000 in South Africa, with a second trial in the US aiming to get as many as 30,000 participants. The potential development comes after US biotech firm Moderna said on Tuesday that it would start the final stage of human trials by 2027. It said it had promising results from earlier testing, and up to 30,000 Americans are expected to take part in these trials. Now, the studies are the latest to inspire hopes of developing a vaccine after nearly 600,000 deaths and 13.4 million cases worldwide since the outbreak began from China last year. Meanwhile, a third group, German company BioNTech, in partnership with US pharma giant Pfizer, plans to carry out its own trials on a vaccine involving 30,000 people. So, Giancarlo, while the news is hopeful, a senior source told The Telegraph that there is still a lot of work to be achieved before the vaccine could potentially be available worldwide. These early results will not also give enough information about the sustained protection against COVID-19 by the vaccine, the sources have noted. Over to you, Giancarlo.
Thank you, Lavan. It's always good to hear about the development of vaccines against COVID-19. Now, is there any information on how close we are to a vaccine? And also, how does AstraZeneca prototype vaccine compare with the others?
Sure. So according to The Guardian, there are more than 100 vaccines tracked by the World Health Organization, and it's a race among researchers and scientists to develop a safe and effective coronavirus vaccine. So it normally takes years of testing and extra time to produce one vaccine at a scale, but scientists are hoping to develop a coronavirus vaccine within 12 to 18 months. A chief scientist in the World Health Organization said in June that AstraZeneca's vaccine was probably the most advanced in terms of its development. It was also reported that the company has signed agreements with governments globally for the supply of the vaccine should it be proven to work. Giancarlo?
Thank you, Lavan. Can you also tell us what are the phases involved in the testing for a coronavirus vaccine?
So it was explained in The Guardian how vaccines are tested. There is a preclinical stage of testing. This is when the researchers give the vaccine to animals to see if it provokes an immune response. There is a phase 1 of clinical testing wherein the vaccine is given to a small group of people to work out if it is safe and to learn more about the immune response that it triggers. Now in phase 2, the vaccine is given to hundreds of people, to scientists, so that scientists can learn more about its safety and the correct level of dosage. In phase 3, the vaccine is given to thousands of people to confirm its safety, including rare side effects and effectiveness. So this trial calls for a control group which is given a placebo. And to date, there are 3 vaccines in phase 3 of testing, according to the World Health Organization. Back to you, Giancarlo.
Thank you so much for that report, Lavan.
Thank you, Giancarlo. I am Love Anna Villanosa Season reporting from London, United Kingdom, and we live in interesting times.
Now we go with our arts and lifestyle correspondent, Ashley Spiritu. She will be reporting now on news of Banksy's artwork being removed. Please tell us more, Ashley.
Thank you, Giancarlo. A few weeks ago, I reported about the British street artist Banksy, who donates and makes amazing artwork. And very recently, they have been themed with the coronavirus pandemic. The world-renowned artist recently got onto one of the London Underground trains and stenciled on the walls and windows some new pieces of artwork. The graffiti star uploaded a video on his Instagram on Tuesday this week and captioned it, "If you don't mask, you don't get it." In the video, the artist is seen boarding the Circle Line train in a boiler suit, spray painting stencils on his iconic rats. Inside, with one rat sneezing blue droplets that appears to be coughing on the inside of the train in between 2 windows. Banksy had then finished by painting his signature in light blue at the end of one of the carriages. However, TfL, Travel for London cleaners, had mistakenly removed the graffiti and did not know of its importance till Banksy had posted the video on his Instagram. The cleaners had said that they were simply fulfilling their contract and following TfL's policy due to the company's strict anti-graffiti policy. The artwork appeared to be encouraging people to wear masks, which TfL said is appreciated as it is something that is required on its surface during the coronavirus pandemic. The TfL spokesman said in a statement, "We'd like to offer Banksy the chance to do a new version of his message for our customers in a suitable location." It was discussed further to change the policy on graffiti for the street artist, but it would, however, encourage others to paint on its trains and buses, and such a move would have to require the Mayor of London's consent. We appreciate the sentiment of encouraging people to wear face coverings, which the vast majority of customers on our transport network are doing, a TfL spokesman said. Back to you, Giancarlo.
Thank you, Ashley. So basically, Banksy's artwork was ruined and destroyed then by the cleaners.
Yes, a lot of Banksy's work has such a deep meaning behind it, and Banksy must really want to move people when they see his art. However, Banksy has not given any statement or shown any type of reaction on his media platforms about his artworks being cleaned away. But the TFL spokesman has said that Banksy was welcome to create another piece of artwork, but in a more suitable location. And so we'll just have to wait and keep updated on Banksy's Instagram account so we can see what his next artwork will be. Giancarlo?
Thank you for that report, Ashley.
Thank you, Giancarlo. I'm Ashley Spiritu, correspondent from London, United Kingdom. We live in interesting times.
It's time for another break now, but please come back for more E&I UK and Europe edition.
Ein sonniger Tag heute hier in Berlin vor dem Bundestag. Ich bin Irene Juliet Arzadon und möchte diese Gelegenheit nutzen, um ein paar Worte mit euch zu teilen. An alle Menschen da draußen. In dieser Zeit lasst uns nicht vergessen, den Menschen zu danken, die ihr Leben für uns opfern. Sei es die Menschen, die im Krankenhaus arbeiten, in den Altenheimen sowie in den Arztpraxen, aber auch an die Menschen, die im Lebensmittelhandel sich befinden. Die Kassierer. Manchmal reicht es aus, um ihnen ein freundliches Lächeln zu geben. Denn die Menschen, die heute am Arbeiten sind, weil sie nicht so wie einige von uns zu Hause bleiben können, die sollten wir wertschätzen. Ihnen sollten wir unseren Dank ausrichten. Darum lasst uns noch mehr zusammenhalten, sie wertschätzen.
Welcome back to E&I UK and Europe edition, now with more interesting stories from Europe this week. Now we go to EBC Germany, Berlin's tourism update. We have live reporting with us, Vanessa Gowert. Hello, Vanessa.
Thank you, Giancarlo. I'm Vanessa Gowert, and here is a news update on the tourism in the capital city of Germany, Berlin. In the first quarter of the year 2020, the outbreak of COVID-19 hit Berlin, which led to a lockdown in one of the most famous European cities. As a result of the lockdown in March, a drop of 90% for Berlin's tourism industry followed. Traveling from other countries was almost impossible. In a conference on May 6, 2020, Chancellor Angela Merkel, together with the Senate, decided to loosen the restrictions in the COVID-19 crisis. They passed various resolutions, of which one of them allowed the hotels to reopen starting from May 25. Despite the various resolutions, the number of tourists visiting the capital city only had risen slowly, not reaching former peaks from the time before the pandemic. But as of this week, it has been reported that more and more tourists are returning to Berlin, visiting famous sites such as Brandenburg Gate, Alexanderplatz, the lower house of parliament called Bundestag, or Checkpoint Charlie. To continue to ensure the safety of the visitors, operators of the hotels in Berlin continue to strictly follow all regulations, such as minimum distances of 1.5 meters and that hygiene rules are complied with. All tourists that come to Berlin by the different modes of transport, like planes or trains, have to follow certain instructions and regulations. Those regulations include that the Berlin City Airport Tegel will remain open, that sightseeing tours by bus and boat are to observe hygiene rules, and that open-air events such as concerts have a maximum of 1,000 people. Although many people expected the vacation to be different than what they are currently experiencing, they make the best of this current situation. Long-distance flights to foreign countries are being replaced by various activities presented, like exploring the city by doing a city trip, learning more about the history of Germany, doing bike tours, simple walks near the waterside, or just by eating typical local food. Additional options include malls and public transport, for which it is required to wear a face mask. The city of Berlin really strives to give its tourists a normal stay by offering many possibilities to make the city more attractive for its visitors. We will continue to keep an eye on the progress of tourism in Germany. I'm Vanessa Howard for Eagle News International. We live in interesting times. Back to you, Giancarlo.
Thank you for that report, Vanessa. EBC Switzerland. Mirage Gstaad in Switzerland. A report by Fridolin Baisa. Let's play her report.
Mirage Gstaad is a work of art of Los Angeles-based artist named Doug Aiken. It is the structure of a domestic house made entirely of mirrors, inside and out. It is located in Gstaad, Switzerland, and is only accessible by foot by a hiking trail. You can take the train and stop at the Gruben station and hike for 15 minutes. If you come by car, you can park it at the Schönried train station and hike for 20 minutes. The artwork premiere last February 2019 and will only last for 2 years, meaning only until the spring of 2021. It is amazing how the Mirage adapts whenever the season changes. Just imagine coming here in the cold and snowy winter, or the amazing colors of autumn, and the spectacle, of course, of spring and summer. Just continuously transforming itself with nature. Wow! Come and visit this place before it's too late. I am Fridolin Baisa, EBC correspondent from Gstaad, Switzerland, and we live in interesting times.
Thank you for that report. Now for our sports update, where the empty Wembley Stadium waits for its Euro 2020 party that was postponed. This weekend, Wembley should have hosted the European Championships 2020 final, but instead, the home of football is preparing for a League One playoff final on Monday in front of 90,000 empty seats. The coronavirus has wreaked havoc on the sporting calendar, with the European Championship one of the first casualties, as UEFA postponed the tournament for 12 months last March 17. European football's governing body is pressing ahead, though, with its plan for a tournament across 12 cities in 12 different countries, with two of the venues, Bilbao and Baku, 5,000 kilometers or 3,100 miles apart from each other. Amsterdam, Budapest, Bucharest, Copenhagen, Dublin, Glasgow, London, Munich, Rome, and St. Petersburg will also host football games. It remains to be seen, though, how feasible that geographical spread will be for fans even in 11 months' time, due to travel and the quarantine restrictions. But the smooth return of European League football at club level, behind closed doors, will give the UEFA hope that the show will go on in some form or other. Lastly now, we have a report from EBC Geneva, Switzerland, where the INC youth members from Switzerland, France, Belgium, and Monaco held an online meet and greet together with other youth from Ottawa in Canada. This report is by Ace Tiomiko. Let's watch his report.
Traveling and meeting new people are what a lot of people, especially the youth nowadays, enjoy doing. But for youth members of the Iglesia Ni Cristo Church of Christ, creating new friendship comes from a deeper bond.
Through the means of video conferencing, the youth members of the Iglesia Ni Cristo from Switzerland, Belgium, France, and Monaco held a meet and greet activity with those from Ottawa, Canada.
Donc c'est un meet and greet qui a été fait entre le district de Western Europe et de Ottawa, ce qui nous a permis de rencontrer de nouveaux frères et sœurs que nous n'avons pas encore rencontrés auparavant. Et nous avons fait ceci à travers différentes activités comme des jeux, des performances, ainsi que des speed dating.
The activity was not only a great way to meet new people. Something else made it even more interesting and special for the participants.
Alors de base, j'aime bien faire des nouvelles rencontres. Donc cette activité, c'était vraiment une bonne occasion de pouvoir en faire. Mais je trouve que c'est encore plus cool le fait que ce soit des frères et sœurs dans la foi. C'est plus intéressant, donc ça m'a vraiment fait plaisir.
For me, it is always nice and heartwarming to get to know other people from another country, especially when they are also brethren inside the Church of Christ. For me, the advantage is that we all have the same goal and the same purpose, which are to give glory to our Lord God and to be united with the church administration.
The event delighted the participants so much that they already look forward to more in the future.
Alors après l'activité, j'étais très heureuse d'avoir fait connaissance avec différentes personnes, de m'avoir fait de nouveaux amis et de juste m'être amusée en fait avec les frères et sœurs, que ce soit du district de Western Europe ou de Ottawa.
I feel very blessed and very happy after the activity, and I hope it is not the last time that we will have an activity like so.
Après l'activité, je me réjouissais déjà des prochaines activités que nous aurions, parce que celle-ci, je l'ai vraiment beaucoup aimée, c'était vraiment cool. Donc j'espère vraiment qu'on en aura vraiment dans pas longtemps, que ce soit dans notre propre district, mais aussi avec d'autres districts, pour pouvoir rencontrer de nouveaux frères et sœurs dans la foi.
For Eagle News International, I am Ace Chimico. We live in interesting times.
Now we go to EBC Paris, France, where Kate reviews reports on the French National Day celebrations.
Okay. It is indeed France's National Day, and this year marks the 131st anniversary of the country. Every year, this holiday is celebrated with fireworks all around France, and most especially the one in Paris from Eiffel Tower, symbolizing and commemorating the French Revolution on July 14, 1789. This year, the fireworks had a special meaning due to the current pandemic situation. The celebration symbolizes the country's resilience during the health crisis. France indeed had particularly suffered at the peak of the crisis with more than 30,000 deaths. For this year's occasion, the annual Grand Parade along the Champs-Élysées was replaced with a scaled-down parade at the Place de la Concorde, and there was no large crowd gatherings allowed around the Eiffel Tower for the fireworks display. This year's celebration was particularly marked by a tribute to the everyday heroes who worked very hard during the lockdown. Some medical staff joined the parade as they were saluted for their work during the pandemic. According to the French President Emmanuel Macron, and I quote, "The dedication, tenacity, courage, solidarity that emerge strongly everywhere in our countries as in our countryside command admiration." Back to you.
Thank you for that report, Kate.
Thank you for having me. From Paris, France, for Eagle News International, I'm Kate Rivives. We live in interesting times.
Now, today we end our show with, again, our view from a window. Today's view comes from EBC Geneva, Switzerland again, and special thank you to Christine Benedicto with the Golden Pass here in Switzerland. Taking the panoramic trains in Switzerland is a great way to enjoy the breathtaking views Switzerland has to offer. This view is from the Golden Pass panoramic train that connects the lakeside city of Montreux to the Alpine station of Gstaad. Thank you for that wonderful view, and we hope you will stay safe and keep positive. We will bring you more stories next week from the United Kingdom. I've been Giancarlo Matera, and we live in interesting times.